Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Very happy, as always, to welcome Allie Bussey from Visit Canton. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Well, before we get into all the nuts and bolts, just let me know how you're doing. How are you doing, Allie?
You know what? I can't complain. I'm healthy. My family's healthy. And like all of us listening today, we're just taking it one day at a time. What else can you do?
Yeah, exactly. And I think if this had hit any other time in history, we wouldn't have been able to do it. We wouldn't have had the technology to stay connected as well as we have stayed connected, even though we're apart, if that makes sense.
I couldn't agree more. That is so true. And you're right. It's allowed us to be creative in ways we never knew we could possibly do through technology.
Do you feel that you're in the position you're in? We should say you're what, vice president of the of Visit Canton, or are you president?
I'm the president.
President. I'm sorry, I gave you a demotion. You are president.
That's okay.
I think vice president sounds pretty like a big deal, but president is a bigger deal of Visit Canton, and it's like they've got the perfect person in there because you're pretty upbeat. You will see the glasses half full all the time, and I'm going to say yay that you're the one that's steering this ship right now. What was your well, no brag, just fact. What was your thoughts when you hear everything's getting canceled? Allie, I can't imagine being you.
Oh, well, like I said, everybody's kind of going through this in some form or fashion, no matter what industry they're in. It just so happens that, travel and tourism was one of the first that was hit. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, due to the nature of the virus, it's going to be one of the last industries that's going to recover. It's been hard, I won't lie, but what I have said, and I have said to others throughout this whole thing, is it's really given us, hopefully all of us, a new appreciation for the assets in our community that you might take for granted. Because now I bet when you're sitting down at a restaurant right now, you might be 6 feet apart and we're sitting outside.
Still
I bet you
outside
have a new appreciation for that restaurant that's there.
Yes.
Or going to the next time you sit down at the Symphony, or the next light up downtown Canton, or First Friday, or whatever it is that you are interested in. The next time you have the ability to be with people and experience some of these events, you'll appreciate it so much more. So hopefully I hope people now see our community like we do, because we see it through the eyes of the visitor, who are often wonderstruck by the amount of quality assets that we have in our community. Hopefully our local community sees it now too. That's kind of my silver lining, if there is one.
It's a great point. When you think of, we'll be sitting at home and we'll be feeling normal because we're sitting at home, and we'll think, let's go to, and then we think, we can't because it's not happening. It's not there.
Right.
So
exactly.
Yeah, I think there's things that have been routine, and you do start to take them for granted. I'm thinking a live festival. My gosh, there's no Alive Festival. And of course, as we're getting into all the time of Hall of Fame, all of the Hall of Fame things. Oh, Allie.
No.
Oh, Allie. Let's look at the
millions
downside.
And millions.
Yeah. What is the economic impact of not having this year? Do we know?
The Pro Football Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival weekend is about a $30 million value to our community. And that's just one weekend. So travel and tourism has an economic impact annually of over $1 billion. So obviously the year's not over with, and it's not that, and we're starting to slowly open, and we're starting to see little glimmers of hope. But it's very safe to say that hundreds of millions of dollars will not be spent in this community. And we will feel that. Everyone will feel that.
Yeah,
Your favorite restaurant will feel that. Your favorite store will feel that. And because visitors are the kind of the most truest form of economic impact, because they don't live here, they don't work here, so they're not using any of our services.
Yeah.
They just come and they leave their money out our doorstep, so to speak, and it goes into our economy, and it's used to in the form of sales tax. So you know what sales tax pays for?
Exactly, yeah.
Or a safety. our safety forces. It pays for, libraries and all sorts of things, fire, all safety, all sorts of things that we now have to be creative and all find a way to support these businesses so that we aren't hurting in the long run.
Well, I didn't call you so that we can make each other depressed.
I know. So let's talk about how we can help.
What we are doing. Let's talk about those creative things. One thing I love is I was on your website because, where I love to eat out anyway, but I do love to cook, but I do love to eat out. And I felt like almost it's patriotic to be eating out these days and helping our restaurants stay in business. During quarantine, we would always try to do takeout several times a week just because we thought, let's keep them in business. Let's help these people.
Of course.
Of course. So what you've got is this great list of here's where you can eat outside.
Yep.
Awesome.
We're trying to find things for everyone to feel comfortable. So we don't pretend to know what's best for you and your family.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to give everyone, no matter what their comfort level is, the opportunity to A, get out and have a little bit of fun, and B, try to create and keep some vibrancy here in our community because it's so important for the long term. So you can get out and you can eat on one of our great patios.
Yes.
We still have all of our people who are doing carry out and delivery because some people don't want to go out at all, and we respect that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have actually just in the past 2 weeks kicked off a new initiative that we're partnering with the Stark County Health Department. It's called Safe and Stark. So if you go to our website, visitcanton.com, right in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a big badge that says Safe and Stark. And if you click on it, you're going to see all of the businesses that have taken the pledge that, hey, we are committed in our business, in our restaurant, in our museum, in our shop, that we are following all of the safety precautions and mandates that have been put forth by the Ohio Department of Health and the Stark County Department of Health. So you can feel confident as a local that you can go into one of these restaurants or one of these stores and they're doing everything they can to keep you safe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm so excited. Just today, some hats with a face shield arrived. I'm so excited.
Ooh,
I know, they're so
fun.
Cute. They're a fashion statement. I'm excited to wear it. I can't wait. And it'll just be maybe a little bit easier to breathe than, although I am a mask wearer. I wear them everywhere. So, but this seemed like something kind of fun and cute. Anyway, I'm excited to wear one to something. Okay, what is open, Allie?
So most you'll find, and you've probably, to your listeners around the region as well, you'll see that a majority of our restaurants are now open for dine-in capacity.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, let me interrupt you real quick there. What's different? Because I've gone twice to indoors to a dining room now, and it is different. You want to explain what we're going to see now that we didn't before?
Absolutely. You're going to see, number one, the capacity is going to be much different because in order for them to maintain the appropriate amount of social distancing of keeping those tables either 6 foot apart or having some sort of physical barrier, whether it's, I've seen all sorts of interesting things. I've seen everything from plastic, like tablecloth looking things down to actual partitions of that people have built and everything in between. So
it is amazing.
It feels different, but you know what? I've been really impressed by people's creativity of how to try to make the best of it. And obviously all your servers and hostesses and anyone you come in contact with, they're going to be wearing their mask. Hopefully your listeners will be wearing their masks too, unless they're sitting at their table, of course, eating.
Eating, right.
You're not going to, right now, there's not going to be live music typically in the form of like a concert or anything like that. You're now just starting to see the ability for maybe a lone musician over in the corner strumming the guitar because they really don't want people having the ability to gather and congregate in any type of group setting. So for a long time, they weren't having any live music, but now you're starting to be able to see, just some ambient music to accompany your dining experience, maybe a piano player, something sort of like that. So
we were
those
excited.
are some of the dining things you're really seeing out there.
Yeah, Gervasi's Piazza had a little bit of music the other night, and it was just so nice. Again,
It is. It makes you feel normal, right?
It does.
It
felt
a
normal.
little bit of, yes, I
Yeah.
completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Gervasi's done a wonderful job. They're all of their businesses, their gift shop, everything, even the hotels, they're all on our Safe and Stark list. They have gone. I mean, I'm so proud of all of our partners, but Gervasi has, in my mind, been such a leader on the forefront.
Yeah.
I mean, when they shifted to making hand sanitizer,
Exactly.
why they were closed, I mean, I am so impressed with.
Gotta salute Gervasi's for absolutely transforming something that they make one thing completely into making another thing to be able to help us through this crisis. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
that's
if you
awesome.
want to get out with, if you got your kids at home or your grandkids this summer, you can still take them. There's lots of great outdoor attractions,
Like
and
what?
they're doing very well.
Mhm.
Sluggers and Putters in Canal Fulton.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can feel pretty confident walking. You're in an outdoor setting. They spread you out, and so you're with your family unit or whoever you're with in your party, and you're absolutely well away, 6 feet away from other people because you're, a whole of micro golf, mini golf away from people. Plus, they have,
Sure.
some of other great assets over at Sluggers and Putters. There's a Fun Times Park in Alliance. It's a kind of a similar little family fun park. Beach Creek. I love Beach Creek.
Love Beach Creek.
In Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
What better time to get out in nature or any of our great Stark parks? Same thing. You can get out on the trails. You can canoe. You can hike. It's probably good for us in more ways than one. We need the exercise. If you're like me, after sitting in quarantine, doing carry out,
Right.
I really need the walk.
Yeah, thank goodness that's been one thing we've been allowed to do. I saw the funniest thing was now that I've been through a pandemic, I understand why so many of the paintings had very heavy people lying on couches.
Right. I feel
Yes.
it. It was all of my carry out.
Yes, right. I relate to that. But yes, thank goodness we can still get out and walk around. Now, when we go to one of these places that you're mentioning, they are part of Safe and Stark, so we can assume that they are doing the sanitizing between people, and because when you touch something that so many other people have touched, yeah, you want to be careful, right?
Yes, both the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the McKinley Presidential Library and Museum, they have done such an excellent job in their own rights and in their own fashions of doing interesting things to keep people safe. At the Pro Football Hall of Fame, when you walk in there now, it's like pretty much completely contactless. You walk in, they've taken away all the stanchions. You come in and you exchange your form of payment. They have people cleaning like constantly.
Yeah.
And I know, and they time you in such a fashion so that you definitely have the social distancing. Everyone's wearing masks. McKinley Museum, they actually have an after, like you can either go in the morning, it's time ticketing. You either go buy your morning ticket or you buy your afternoon ticket. And in the middle of the day, they go through and clean everything.
Wow. It is amazing. As you said, everybody's gotten very creative. I know in one of the restaurants, just to circle back to that for a second, somebody had clear plastic shower curtains hung with slits so that they do the hand serving you through the slit in the curtain. It's just kind of amazing, but it works.
Amazing, yeah.
Isn't it?
I mean, human ingenuity is something you can't, like, I'm always intrigued and impressed by those that survive things like this and thrive. It's because they thought outside the box and they were flexible and adaptable. And I think it's really showed our human spirit.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I think some things we're going to keep doing this way because we figured out how to do them better. It's amazing. We are speaking with Allie Bussey from Visit Canton. Going to take a short break here. We'll be back after these words. You're listening to Our Community. Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Allie Bussey from Visit Canton. She is president of all the people coming into our town who are not coming into our town. So we're getting creative and figuring out ways to really, as you said earlier, Allie, appreciate what we've got. I think once we're able to do something, we just kind of get over there, even if it's something that we've taken for granted because we know we could always do it. But I think a lot of times people live in a place and they never see the major attractions from the place they live. People who live in New York don't go to the Statue of Liberty. And a lot of people that live in Canton have never been to the Football Hall of Fame. I think that's going to change. What are your thoughts?
I couldn't agree more. And if I could plead with our community, this is the time to rally and wrap your arms around these industries. So many of our industries have been hurt, but travel and tourism has truly been decimated because we rely on visitors coming to the region, but it will end up hurting all of us in the long term because if those dollars aren't being spent in our community in the form of sales tax, we're all going to in the end hurt from that. Yeah. So, if you're not taking that little beach vacation this year because it's not safe to do so, perhaps you can take a series of day trips and experience your own backyard and at the same time impact that small business owner who is just getting by. Because, it's going to be so crucial now because so many of the programs that were keeping some of our businesses afloat are kind of nearing or winding down. So it's going to be more important than ever for us to really, really love our local businesses. If you love a business in your community and you don't want to see it go away, make an investment to, buy that to-go meal or purchase that cute new sweater at your local boutique or whatever it is.
Yes.
Get out and support those local businesses.
So I love what you're saying. We should act like a tourist right here in our town. We can't go anywhere else, so might as well act like a tourist right here.
Absolutely. And you can know that the people because these are your neighbors, these are your people that live in your community, they want what's best for you as well, so you can feel safe walking into their business, knowing that they're going to do everything they can to keep them safe and you safe because they live here too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think let's keep reminding people to keep going to your website because you do have a good ongoing updated information about what's open and if there are certain times that they're open. Because as you said, McKinley Museum, you get a day pass or an afternoon pass, morning pass or afternoon pass. Not everything has the same times. And is everything open as far as museums yet, Allie, or no?
You know what? Not everything is quite open yet, and a lot of our businesses have different hours right now.
Yeah, okay.
And you may have even noticed local restaurants have even changed their hours. Stores tend not to be open as late as they used to. Yeah. So it really is important. I encourage everyone to continue to go to visitcanton.com. We keep up with all of the different openings and closings. Canton Museum of Art is just now opening back up.
Yes.
And everyone's kind of taking this slow, methodic, careful approach. And that just shows you how committed they are to keeping us safe in the long run. Mm-hmm. So I can't reiterate that enough, that if it were me and I were just starting to go out, I trust my neighbors first and foremost. So hopefully that's how other people feel, and that they're willing to, as they start to venture back into the world, they start close to home and love on your local businesses.
I love that. Canton Museum of Art would be a great place to start because it's a very hands-off experience anyway. You're looking at things. So It would be a great thing to go and appreciate the amazing exhibits that they have there. It's always awesome what's going on there. We've got a world-class art museum right in our own backyard. And just with them just now opening up, I think that's going to be important. And I'm sure they're doing things a little bit differently as well. Allie, when we're talking about restaurants being at half capacity and with some of these places only allowing so many people in at a time, how are they making enough to stay in business? Do you know?
I don't know any of our restaurants, finances, but I have to imagine that it's definitely hard, if I'm guessing. And that's why, for us, my family too, we have been going out at least once or twice a week.
Yeah.
And if we're not going out, we're ordering carry out for
Yeah.
them, because we want to make sure that we keep those places that no one else gets to say they have. I mean, no one else gets to say they have a Desert Inn. No one else gets to say, you know, that they have a Gervasi. No one else, you know, we have some really amazing assets, and that's our Bender's Tavern. You know, there's so many one of a kinds that no one else gets to have. I don't want to lose them. As much as I appreciate all restaurants, whether it's a, you know, a chain type of facility or fast food, that's fine. Like, listen, to each his own, but you would be really sad if you woke up one day and there was no more of your favorite local iconic restaurant. And I want to make sure I take care of them during this time.
So true. And we have our favorite things that we eat at each of those. If I just imagine if that wasn't there. We don't want to be telling our grandchildren, oh, back in the day, we had the most amazing thing. Like as I try and explain Mother Goose Land to them or Myers Lake to them, it just sounds like, wow, those were things that we never thought would go away. And yet, you know, we don't have them anymore. We don't want to lose other things like that. What do you, as far as like theme parks, if people are going down to Tuscarora Park or something like that, do you have good just tips of how a family can stay safe while they're going to something that's going to be like around more people?
Absolutely. So, of course, follow all of your local and state health guidelines. Stay with your family, social distance, make sure you're using that hand sanitizer or washing your hands after each contact at, you know, each place. And then, of course, wear your mask. And, you know, it's to keep, I always say too, like, I'm not as concerned about myself getting it, but I would hate if I made someone else sick. Yeah. I wear it out of respect for other people so that I make them feel comfortable and know that I'm doing everything I can to keep them safe too.
You said you're working closely with the Stark County Health Department. This COVID experience has brought some things coming into our community that wouldn't normally affect the, Convention and Visitors Bureau. So are there some things that are taking up your time now in your day that are completely different than what you're accustomed to doing?
For us, we are more in the world where so many events are canceling and they're trying to find later dates to put them on, and we're trying to juggle, trying to find space for things at later times. We do get, it's interesting because as much as people are wonderful, there's also a lot of people that have become very vigilant, which I guess is in some ways is good. So some people like to tattle to us a lot about people that we have to say, like, thank you. And we let that attraction know, or whatever it is, like, hey, someone's saying this, you should probably check into this. And but if it's something serious, of course, we let the health department know. But like I said, thankfully, our partners, because they really want to get their business going, they take it very seriously and they're very diligent. But, you can't please everybody all the time. So we have some interesting people sometimes.
Always. You do what you can. Yeah, I've noticed there's some.
You do what you can.
Yeah, that's right. What does it look like for the fall? What do we think? What do we think we might? Where are you right now as far as what might be happening in the fall?
Right. Well, what we're planning. It's hard to say. I can't even say what we're planning.
I know.
That's not the right words. As of right now, there are still some pretty significant events that have not canceled.
Yay! Okay. What are those?
The OHSAA Football Championship, which is always the first week of December, is still confirmed.
Really?
And so that will depend on what happens with the football season here, high school football season.
Yes.
I don't know what that looks like as far as capacity of crowd, if there are spectators, if there aren't. I don't know any of that. It's truly, but as of right now, it's on the books, and we're preparing for that. We're also still preparing for the NCAA Division III football championships, known as the Stag Bowl, you've probably heard of.
Yes.
That's also supposed to be played in December. There's definitely some other, for us, what we're still seeing some glimmer of hope is those outdoor sporting events have the most hope of actually being executed. If you have been driving around in our community, you've probably seen any day of the week the ball fields are really starting to be full.
Yes.
Whether it's Little League, and then there's some travel leagues that have been coming through. So we're seeing a little bit of pickup because there is, travel ball teams who are staying in our hotels and eating in our restaurants and so on. I think we'll really have a better grasp on that once things cool off and we all have to start heading back indoors, what that's going to look like and how that's going to impact our fall and winter.
Fortunately, golf has never been very effective.
Yes, golf is another one that's been very good, and thankfully we have an abundance of wonderful golf courses here. So that too, that's a great point, Susie. That's been another good saving grace.
Yes, and if you happen to get invited to an outing that's a fundraiser, don't not go, right? Because golf is fairly safe to play, yes?
Yes, and I mean, if you think about just the nature of golf, other than the person that's on your cart with you, which is more than likely someone you know that you're going with,
right?
I mean, you really don't have any type of contact with anyone except when you make your purchase. But even still, I was at the Quarry the other day, who has a beautiful patio, by the way, and they have great food. I was having lunch at the Quarry, and I was watching the young people that they have hired there for the summer cleaning, like disinfecting carts. Like the minute they were back in like the corral area,
awesome.
There was a whole little crew of young people like disinfecting all the carts and making sure everything was tip top. So I would feel very confident in golf right now.
That's awesome. All right, so we know that we can go to visitcanton.com and see a list of what's opening. If there are special hours, almost everything has special hours, and particularly all those things that are involved with, is it called Stay Safe in Stark or Stay Safe Stark? How is that?
It's called Safe in Stark.
Safe in Stark. Okay, great. My short-term memory, I'm blending.
No, you're good. You're good. You were right. You were right there.
All right. Well, Safe in Stark, and we want to be safe in Stark, as well as Tuscarawas and all of our surrounding counties. Allie Bussey, we can't thank you enough for all you do in our community. God bless you, my friend.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for all you're doing to shed light on this. I appreciate it.